of waiting, Android 17 has returned, and apparently he's been hitting the gym, as he has an epic manly battle with Goku in this week's incredibly action-packed and super exciting episode of Dragon Ball Super! Let's just get this out of the way first. Goku versus Android 17, the first time these characters have ever seen each other, and they decide to have a sparring match. Does it live up to the hype? Hell freaking yes. The battle in this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super, without a doubt, is going to go down as classic. It wasn't perfect. Some of the artwork was a little iffy, but for the most part, the overall setting, the sunset, the lighting, the movement of the characters made this one of the most exciting and distinctive battles in Dragon Ball history. And it was a great showcase for how far Android 17 has come, and his personality has certainly gone through one hell of a change. I guess once you've been absorbed by some sort of weird reptilian bioorganic android, you start to rethink your life a little. And that's what he's done. According to Dende, Android 17 has been living a normal life as a park ranger, beating the ever-living shit out of poachers who are looking for rare creatures and mystical beasts. He's even found the time to start a family. He has a wife and a couple of kids, whom they don't want us to see at all. I'm wondering why they're keeping his family a mystery. Goku apparently gets to see a picture of them in his cell phone, but we, the viewers, don't get to see this. I wonder if this is actually going to end up being important later, or they just want us to seethe and rage and wondering who his family could actually be. That being said, the actual journey getting to see Android 17 was really fun because, to my knowledge, I did not know that Kami's lookout could actually move. And that's what Dende does in this episode. He uses his powers as the god of Earth to find where Android 17 is. He locates him on this island, and he actually retracts the power pole, which is going from Korin's tower, and they start to just float across the clouds as they make their way to Android 17. This scene is important as we get caught up to speed with Android 17 because we haven't seen him in a long time. I mean, he practically fell off the face of the series after the Cell arc. He made one small cameo at the very end of the Majin Buu saga, but that was about it. But honestly, I've started to really grow attached to the character, especially in this brand new iteration of him, because he is just badass in this episode. But there's also a little bit of teasing for Oob as well. According to Dende, Oob is already a young boy who is training, and he's even telling Goku that someday he would actually like him to train him. And we know that is going to be going on because at the very end of Dragon Ball Z, they had that big tournament arc where Goku and Oob met each other, and then they went off to do something. Maybe that's going to be GT, maybe they're actually going to completely rewrite the entire history of Dragon Ball and give us the story which takes place after that, which honestly, I think would be pretty damn cool. Who knows how long Dragon Ball Super is going to go on for? I mean, considering how important this upcoming arc is, it could very well be the last of the series, but honestly, the fact that they're able to bring a character like Android 17 back to the forefront really shows us that this series could go on a lot longer than we could possibly anticipate. Things kick up to 11 when Goku finally arrives to the island, which is basically this big derelict island in the middle of nowhere that he is working at, trying to protect it from these poachers with a lot of ridiculous weapons. They're like freaking Cobra from G.I. Joe. They got a lot of ridiculous tanks and guns, and none of them do anything against 17. He just makes them all look like a bunch of fools and takes them out single-handedly. Goku arrives to help him out in a really cool scene where they finally do meet each other for the very first time, and I expected it to be a little more tense, but it's not. Android 17 has gotten over his original ways of wanting to kill Goku and simply just wants to live a normal life protecting the animals and being with his family. However, Android 17 is still looking for a good fight, a fight that he never actually got to have with Goku, and Goku is more than happy to oblige, because he has to test out his strength and see if he's actually going to be capable of joining the Tournament of Power, and I think he makes one hell of an impression. It's heavily implied by Dende that Android 17 has reached a very high power level, and the reason Goku hasn't noticed this shit is because he's been hanging out with the gods all of this time, not paying attention to what he's been doing. And apparently he's been doing some intense training. I'm not sure what that was, but he's able to go toe-to-toe with Super Saiyan Blue, going as far as to actually, like, deflecting one of his Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha blasts. That's a pretty damn big accomplishment, and he does it all with just, like, a weird key force field. It's pretty awesome, but everything else is just this amazingly slick, super fast, and fluid battle between the two characters, which is set in the middle of the ocean during a sunset, and it looks so damn gorgeous. every single time the characters move, too, they move with this, like, I want to say elasticity that I haven't seen in the series in quite some time, and it really lends itself well to this action scene, as well as just demonstrating how powerful Android 17 is, as he doesn't even, like, sweat at all in this battle. Even after, like, they have this epic confrontation where they end up, like, punching each other as they're falling downwards, completely upside down, spiraling out, exploding into the ocean as this massive shockwave just explodes into your face. They're then just there, standing, acting like none of that just happened, and that this is just another day at the office for them. They're so confident in their abilities that it's just plain awesome. And definitely, I think, one of the coolest action scenes from the entire series. That combined with just the setting, which I honestly think is what kind of makes this battle for me. The sunset, the dolphins jumping out of the ocean, this cool island with all of these weird creatures on it, including this one which is called a Minotauros, which seems like it's going to have more importance in the next episode. Yes, this is going to be a two-parter, but after their battle, they've just assessed that they are strong enough, but they don't want to destroy the island with all of the animals. And this is where Goku tries to convince Android 17 to join the tournament. And Android 17 says no. Just straight up. He doesn't want anything to do with it. If everyone's going to be destroyed, everyone's going to be destroyed. He's at peace with it. He even knows the repercussions of this tournament, that everyone is going to die. However, I have a feeling he is going to be persuaded in next week's episode, because this one ends on a cliffhanger with some weird random aliens just sort of showing up outside of Earth, because this is Dragon Ball and that's what they do, and they decide they're going to go to this very specific island where Android 17 is so they can get the Minotauros and any other rare creatures that they can find. Essentially, he's dealt with poachers that are from Earth. Now he's going to have to deal with alien poachers! Which is basically probably just going to lead to more of 17 Goku teaming up and fighting against some aliens, and eventually being convinced that, yeah, it is worth fighting for, and he has to go and do this tournament. He has to save the animals and his family. So, what's the rundown on this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super? Man, this episode kicked ass! Did it not? Did it not entertain you? The battle between 17 and Goku was pretty damn great. The build-up to it was really great, too. I'm glad that we got to spend some more time with 17, being reminded of who he is, why he's important, and just getting to see a lot of his power on display. And the actual battle between Goku and 17, like I said, pretty damn near pitch perfect. There were moments where the artwork just looked a little weird, or a little off, or there was not enough detail, but the overall movement and speed of the battle was just great, and it really added a lot of style to this one. If there's one thing that this current arc is doing right, it's giving the series some distinctive action scenes. Because Dragon Ball has a very different feel than Z, and Z has a very different feel than Super. And that's what I love about all of them. They have their very own special feel to them, and I can't wait to see how they're going to up the ante, because all these battles we've had so far have been preliminaries and just recruiting people. Just imagine what the Tournament of Power is going to be like with all of these brand new characters, not to mention seeing our favorite ones actually working together. And considering how strong 17 is, I can't wait to see how 18 is going to react to all of this. Is 18 at the same level? Has she actually been training secretly? Is she going to be shocked by what her brother is going to be capable of? Not only that, but this episode made me realize, man, I really hope the Recruiting TN episode is going to be as fun as this one is. I didn't even expect this to be a two-parter, and I welcome it, if only just to get some more ridiculous action scenes and to spend more time with this character who has been very absent from the series, but honestly, I'm so happy that he's back. He's such a classic character from the series, never fully lived up to his potential, and now it's time for him to finally show off his brand new Super Android skills. So, what more can I say? This episode of Dragon Ball Super was an action-packed fun fest, which all Dragon Ball fans should definitely check out, especially those who are fans of the original Dragon Ball Z, because Android 17 is back! And he is kick-ass. So, I loved this one, 5 out of 5, but I want to hear from you guys. What did you think about this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super? Were you excited for the return of Android 17? Why are they keeping his family mysterious? Are they characters that we have seen before, or are they trying to shock us with something? Or is this just going to lead to a gag, or we'll never find out? What did you think of the battle between Goku and Android 17? Did you have a favorite scene? How's Goku going to convince him to join the Tournament of Power in the next episode? And what do you hope to see from the next big episode of Dragon Ball Super? Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for all Dragon Ball Super reviews and other anime reviews. Make sure to leave me a comment or two. I'd love to chat with you guys about this week's episode, about how freaking awesome it was and some of the things that could happen in the future. And if you liked this video, why don't you give it a thumbs up? If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay damn, baby.